pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under the God, indivisible, with liberty for all. Thank you. Who would like to say the grace?
One.
One.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to give you thanks for the safety you've given to our squadron in the years. Lord, we ask for your continued hand over each and every one as they fly missions and we go about doing the work in the Civil Air Patrol. And Lord, just be with us here this evening as we get together and communicate about the business of the Civil Air Patrol tonight. And be with our soldiers and their families. Protect them, we pray. Be with them and comfort them. Amen.
All right. So for today's meeting, I will start with a few updates on what is going on at the group level and what is happening with the squadron. We are approaching end of fiscal year, and we are approaching, actually we already passed the 2-year period after which the unit has to undergo the inspection by subordinate unit, and that's called SUI for those who is new to the squadron business. We are scheduled for SUI on 27th of this month. This is confirmed at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm asking our staff, all the officers and assistant officers to join me if you have time. That will help us to make the good impression on the process and have easier path to address all the questions which may arise. So most important, I would say, we would need finance committee to be present, the financial officer, and of course Chris, if you're available from professional development perspective, would be fantastic. I'm asking Mike to join us as a deputy commander, since he's been with the squadron for a long time and has a wealth of knowledge which will help us to get that as easy as possible. Largely we are ready with Mike's and Christopher's help. We completed all the reports, gathered all the information required to accompany the reports, and I will upload the reports most likely tonight. We have 10 days before the actual date of the meeting to upload the reports. I don't know if they actually ask any questions before the meeting, or they will just...
Typically no.
Okay. Good. So next Tuesday we will have a visitor. Our group commander will come over. I guess his routine is to visit different squadrons from time to time, and for that day we will make it a little bit more official. We'll have some awards and promotions to address. That will be a great opportunity to do in front of our group commander.
Sorry, what day was that?
23rd, next
23rd.
Tuesday. Yeah, I believe it's 23rd. So desired uniform of a day for next meeting will be blues, but corporate is just fine. I specifically will ask those members who get promotions and awards to wear more formal uniform, just for sake of celebrating the event. Next one, I reiterate that last Tuesday, August 30th, we have Nighthawk Gathering of our members. Please invite your friends, family, friends who are interested in aviation, just would like to come for burger cookout. I'll bring my son. If nobody else volunteers, he does pretty good burgers. Hopefully he'll agree to do it. The donation for that from members only is $10. Should be enough. And if you have anyone interested to come, please RSVP with myself, so I run the list of attendees at least.
What time is that?
6 p.m.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, so it's 6 o'clock at the hangar, not here. Keep that in mind when you invite your friends and family. Next, I'd like to talk about next year's financial situation. As you may know, prices are coming up, unfortunately, and the rental for this facility and the hangar was increased by 9.4%. That's one part of the news. Second part of the news, group will not subsidize our cost. So that said, we need to address fundraising for our squadron one way or the other, and I'd like really to start a little bit of discussion. If anyone has experience doing that, what kind of events we can actually do, and I will also reach out to higher command to guide me through that process. I think it's not completely fair to put all the burden of cost on members only. We can share it with public, especially if we serve our public in many ways. And that is one of the subjects for open discussions after I complete my updates. The next subject related to sure.
What is next year's total amount that we're going to need? Do we have a number?
Yes, I will have a meeting with Finance Committee within the next couple of weeks. We are due with the formal budget by end of August to the group. So definitely, most likely by the next meeting, I will have a draft budget ready. So overall number I can actually bring up on screen right now. What is current run rate? And that will largely remain unchanged because our only expense is these facilities, hangar facilities, internet, and utilities. Internet and utilities like electric and water is flat rate at $35 per month. That didn't change. The only increase was this office space. The hangar also didn't change. So it's approximately $650 or $660 per month, more or less. Anything else, like water, paper, we just acquire as we need. We don't plan for it. So our budget is a little bit over $7,000 for next year, fiscal year.
It's about 7,500.
Yeah.
Because remember, we got to pay for the hangar too.
Correct.
Not very much. But
So
we still have to pay.
yes, so I'll open the actual paperwork in a moment.
Just out of curiosity, Mike may know the answer to this. Years and years and years ago, we used to take care of our own finance and have our own checkbook, and we had a lot of money back then. They took it all away. It was like $10,000 that Civil Air Patrol scooped up from our squadron. My question really is that come October 1st, that's the new fiscal year. That's when the bills start coming due and all that. Up there in the top echelons of the finance for the California wing, what happens if somebody comes in with a $5,000 donation? What do they do with that money?
Yeah, actually,
I mean, would it be better to just do a monthly increment donation?
No, the $5,000 actually goes into the Civil Air Patrol account, but it's actually set aside for us to use. If we label it that way.
yeah. The direction I got from finance was, especially if it's checks, things like that. You in the note section you put our charter number.
Right.
But if it's like a business donation, you just need to make sure that you talk to finance to make sure that
Terry Singleton.
yeah, when they hook that up, that it's tagged for
Yeah, so
and
then
that
that,
will remain funds for us to use,
yes.
as long as we label it correctly. Actually, no. I mean, they might have it in interest bearing, but we don't get that.
It is possible to establish interest bearing, but modern interest rates are not that crazy. But as Mike explained, there are two types to receive donations. There are restricted donations to Squadron use only, and there are unrestricted donations which go to national and used across the board. So as Chris mentioned, as long as the incoming funds properly labeled and deposited to restricted use account, nobody can take this money. So, and we need to really explore the matter how we advertise ourselves and how we make more people aware and companies aware of our existence, so people are willing to help us one way or the other. One option I'm working with is related to equipment. I'm trying to make Redbird donate an upgrade of that unit sitting in the back of our office. The normal cost of that unit is close to $10,000. They already offered an upgrade at $4,800, which is significant help. But of course we cannot afford it, but maybe if we advertise it to the right entities, we can get those funds issued to us and carry on the upgrade. The benefit of that unit is such that if we have it current and up to date, we can actually use it in real training situations. We can log time with it. We can keep our instrument currency through that practice.
Can't you log time right now?
I don't think so, because it's not current on databases. It requires periodic updates to enable that, based on my understanding. But actually, we can ask some of the CFIs. Well, we can double check. But I believe for VFR, probably yes. For VFR, most likely yes, but for IFR, it has to be current.
I don't know if it needs database updates.
Let's find out. So my overall mission as a new commander is help the squadron in as many ways as possible to stay financially solvent and to bring as many new members as possible. And the other subject I'd like to discuss with the group is our recruitment process for new members. So start thinking about it, and I talked to David as public relationships officer, and to Chris as professional development officer, on what possible options we may have, and we will share that in a moment. Next subject probably will leave until Terry is back and is available. I'd like to formalize the new pilot onboarding program in a way we have all the information at our fingertips and it's current information. So we will start utilizing Teams more effectively and post data there for members to access. The most common questions would be, where do I start? What are the prerequisites? And yes, we covered it multiple times, but as new members come in, they will keep asking the same questions, and it's not effective use of our time to repeat it all over and over again. I did find a very good resource from a different squadron in Santa Monica, where they spent about an hour and a half on recorded session on Teams, and it's available on SharePoint, and I did post the link on our Teams channel for pilot onboarding. Please refer any member who is asking about this kind of information right there, and they will find most of the answers to their questions. Again, another part of the mission for me is to make as many members of our squadron flying as possible with everyone's help. We have Mike with lots of knowledge available, and we can organize sessions based on Mike's availability and enough members interested on Garmin 1000, on avionics we have, other avionics we have, on radio usage, and so on and so forth. So other members who are willing to step up and run specific subject like communications. Now we have pretty much state-of-the-art comms room in our disposal. We can schedule a group level training session here at our squadron, bring more people in, create more traffic, and build interest to what we do. Again, think about other options, what we can do to help building our group, our squadron. Let me see. As a part of maybe creating a better understanding within the squadron on objectives, make sure we all aligned on objectives, and myself included, I'd like to start like short one-on-one sessions. It's not mandatory, but I'd like to spend at least a few minutes with each and every one of you and understand what are your goals with Squadron and CAP in general, what help you possibly may need, what would you like to do here, how you can help, and some of your ideas which maybe we should bring to the group discussion, and again with a common goal to develop this unit to the level where we get more respect from the group and from the wing. Because the situation, for example, we see with our airplane is probably due to lack of enough persistent effort in making the higher command aware of what is this group, this unit, the squadron is capable of, and how we contribute to the wing. Again, idea is welcome, but I will start doing it. I will be here earlier starting next week, and I stay usually late, at least an hour after the meeting is adjourned. I'll stay after this meeting as well, and anyone interested to begin this kind of discussions, welcome. We can do it in private, we can do it in a group. It's really up to a member's preference. Yes.
Start right now. You were talking about what we can do in regards to increasing income. If we bring in 5 people at $200, that's $1,000. That $1,000 with 5 crew members without raising the dues at $200 would pay for the increase of $660 a month plus the other thing. All we need is 5 people. For the last few years, it's been my opinion that due to the loss of members after COVID and etc., which is now worse than before, we've got a lot of members that aren't even showing up, that don't even participate. It would behoove us as a squadron to come in, or we should have here, and meet with the city manager of Riverside, explain to him our situation, and see if the council would give us a reprieve as to how much we're paying per month. That is our only solution. Now, Dan Olson used to be on the airport commission here for this airport. And when he was on there, managed to get a lot of our rent reduced in cost. That's been 10 years. And since then, we keep going more and more and more. I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to price us out of becoming a squadron because of the lack of membership. That's 2 issues. My third issue is there's 2 options that I look at now. Even though the one reservation is not within Riverside, one option is that one tribal nation that's not in Riverside in San Bernardino is talk with them to see if they could support us for 2 months. That'd be $1,200. We can supply ourselves for the 10 months. They like to give a lot of money out to charitable groups themselves. There are some in Riverside County, some of the tribes here in Paula and well, the one that's out just south of Hemet, or at Hemet. I'd hate to drive on that reservation because they used to fire at the sheriffs. They'd run like heck into that reservation, and the sheriffs would get return fire, so they just said, we're not going there anymore. But
Wild West.
they have a casino on site, and whether we address that with a letter, there's a possibility that they may even give us something for 1 month or maybe 2 months. So we're reaching out to that. The fourth one I have then would be Aircraft Spruce. Aircraft Spruce does give out grants to various organizations, and there's a good possibility that they can donate $500. Years ago, I used to go to Gill Battery, and I'd have them donate a battery. We'd sell it. They don't know about it. And we take that money and put it into the treasury. So if I managed to have them give me a battery for, we'll say the 182 at the time, it was $250. And I'd sell it for $250. Take that money, we put it back into the squadron. They were donating that to place in the aircraft. Unbeknownst to them, I had a lot of ins in. In some cases, I still do. But they become very restrictive in some of those cases. If they gave us a battery, could we really sell it to somebody else for that? Or are they really giving it to us to put in our aircraft, which we can't really do because National, under their maintenance program, says, no, you can't do that. So we could probably say it's a donation, and when the battery dies, we add the acid to it, and we put it in our battery at no cost. But then, is that cost coming out of our kitty? It comes out of National's committee. Maintenance.
Aircraft maintenance comes out of the wing maintenance fund.
Yeah, so we would not get any credit for that. So those are just four things that I'm thinking about, and I've always had on my mind here. And since you're on this subject, I think it'd be a good time right now to talk about it. So, or at least come up with the ideas and think that maybe we should take and look into the future of this. Take two people and meet with the city manager here and see what they can do and tell them we're in dire needs, just like everybody else is a nonprofit. I'm sure that when they have parades and stuff and activities in Redlands, or like in Redlands, that they don't charge them. They don't charge them the fees that are required for permitting. Redlands bypasses all that for a lot of the charitable things. So instead of having a parade for sponsorship, maybe they can take and give us 2 months rent. I have no idea, but it's worth a try.
It's definitely worth the try, and all these ideas are great. And I'll put it down on paper, and we will, in fact, discuss the next steps implementing this.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm willing to go with somebody. I'll take the day off if I have to, and go with somebody and sit down and talk with them.
I will go with you.
Now, one other out we have is, I always have a hard time. Experian, who's in our squadron? The teacher, who was the mayor of Expian of Moreno Valley, who's now running for Board of Supervisors. If he gets on as the Board of Supervisors, we may have some pull. There's a possibility, but I don't trust anything when it comes to elections. Only at the result of whether I like it or I don't like it. But if he can get placed into the supervisory position, and he's kind of a good politician, there's a good chance that we may get some additional help through him if he puts pressure, and I'm saying pressure, or just being able to discuss the issues with the higher degrees, which would be the city of Riverside, because this manager is not going to do anything. This guy came out of LA and all he cares about is money. I'll be honest with you, where he came from. And he had a budget that didn't expire. It just kept growing and growing and growing, and he likes that. So that's what he's trying to do here, is make a good name for himself, make a lot of money for the city, but it's hurting us.
Yeah, this is a great option. Any other suggestions on the same subject? Okay, so the present run rate as we just discussed, is in the range of 6,200 for this fiscal year, and it will grow for approximately 7,500 or so next year. And I will present the budget for the next year at the next meeting, and we can actually discuss our options again. By the time we will do our best to put the plan together with Bob and anyone else who steps up to start actually walking in this direction. These are topics I prepared to talk about. Other topics we will cover is emergency related missions and practices. We are having a little bit of contingency issues with aircraft, and I will let Lon provide us an update what is the status on current aircraft in a moment. But I want to reiterate that there is a mandatory safety procedures clinic which is required for all onboarded pilots to be taken by September 26. You need to book your session with one of the instructors. It's Trent Ferris, one of them. Shane TK is another one, and Terry Pratt is third one. So these are the three instructors. Although Terry is not formally an instructor for CAP, but he was qualified to act as a mentor pilot on this particular clinic. All you need is available aircraft and time aligned with one of the three instructors. The good news, if you care, this particular clinic qualified for Wings credit. You have to properly brief it, document it with your instructor, and submit the credit for validation to FAA safety portal. That mission specifically is 22 T as in Tango 3832. Another clinic, if you need to transition from regular aircraft to technically advanced aircraft, there is a TAA clinic with the mission number technically advanced aircraft transition 3829. For, I believe there is only one sortie, but I can double check in a moment.
Yeah, the type, is it an
It's A.
A5?
It's fully funded.
Yeah.
But I believe there is only one option. I will double check.
Oh, okay.
When you pull up the 3832, it'll bring in the type
Okay.
automatically.
Like on boarding, there's only two.
And last but not least, there are proficiency flights available. And again, once you are a Form 5 pilot, whether it's a transport mission or mission pilot, you are entitled normally for the transport pilot one proficiency mission in every 3 months. For the mission pilot, I believe every 2 months. Right, Mike?
Sorry?
For the mission pilot, the proficiency is allowed every 2 months or every 1 month? Every 1 month.
I believe it's every month you get.
Yes. So another good news right now, it's virtually unrestricted funding. So you can book as many proficiency flights as you'd like. I believe until the funds run out, basically through the end of the fiscal year. That's 3829. That's technically advanced aircraft transition training. So let's get an update from Lon on aircraft.
Okay, we just got an email today that the turbo bracket for 437 Charlie Papa is on its way. So in the next few days, they should be getting that at the shop. Last time I talked to Maintenance 1 about that, in summary, they said it was going to take about 8 hours to put that, change the bracket out on that. So that's queued up, along with the TIT indication that they're going to have to look at, make sure that that gets fixed. And then hopefully within a week or so, the turbo will be ready to fly again.
Isn't that going to San Diego?
Well, that was the last time I heard until this grounded it. So I'm assuming that they are still going to want to take it down there. I know that Mr. Pratt has been trying to convince various people that it'd be better to leave 437 Charlie Papa here because it's centralized and more people can use it. It's got more of a useful load, all those good things for that plane. So we'll see how that turns out. In the meantime, we have flying 743 Charlie Papa. There's 9 hours left before oil change is due. I'm going to be flying the next couple days on boarding, practicing for my Form 5, and I got a text into Ryan Ferris making a date for my Form 5, so hopefully we can wrap that all up for me personally before they take our plane away again, which it sounds like they're going to do the 26th of this month. Well, I got that from you, so I don't.
Ron, the reason Trent was reaching out to you is because I'm trying to get my training done as well. so we'll see.
I don't know if they're going to be able to take it to Palm Springs. I mean, it's multiple 3-digit numbers, and that's why it's here. It's because it's too hot there to fly.
Right.
So they may not be able to do it.
Nobody has contacted me for any movement of that plane, but so all I have is, third-hand information that they wanted to share the plane 2 weeks there and 2 weeks here. That's why I'm trying so hard and desperately to finally get this Form 5 while the plane is here.
Yeah, I'd love to
And-
finish my Form 5 too, so whenever you get a date with Ryan, I'll try to piggyback on your date right after you.
Yeah, there's 9 hours of time left before the oil change, so I'm gonna burn 2+ hours over the next couple days, and then the Form 5 hopefully will come very soon after that, maybe this weekend. So there's, let's just say 4 hours out of the 9, so there's 5 hours left. And I could put it in for the oil change like on Monday and then get that behind us, but it's all a timing thing. It doesn't take them long to change the oil, but I try to bring it as close to, the 0 point as possible. 50 hour, we have, plus or minus 10%. So anytime between 45 hours and 55 hours. So, I'll try to let everybody know what's happening over the next few days. So that's pretty. Yeah, they took it up north for looking for a hiker, and then they had a WADS mission today.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few hours put on this plane. So Squadron 5, is putting quite a few hours onto the planes. Whatever plane we end up having, we end up putting quite a few hours on it each month.
Like I've always said, get your name on the schedule. Even if it's a week or two or a month in advance, get your name on the schedule. Because if you don't, somebody else may take it right away from you.
Right, they had it scheduled for IPL going on next weekend, but they canceled that because they couldn't find any crews to fly it.
Not until you get your Form 5.
91, Form 91 again. Excuse me? Yeah, the CD crew down at IPL. It's pretty hot down there, so these days it's hard to find a crew that wants to. But anyway, that's
I think the maximum temperature is 104 that you can fly an airplane.
Yeah, usually down there, I don't know how much should talk about that, but they make provisions so at the crack of dawn, you're up in the air while it's still a little cool. You land and then turn around and get fuel and do another flight before it gets, 110 degrees. That's kind of what they try to do. It's good flying. I mean, you get 13 hours if you're a pilot. I've got hundreds of hours down there from all that. So, but that's all ancient history. Got to get back in the saddle now.
Well, as Lon mentioned, is one of the most busy groups in terms of number of hours we are putting on those airplanes. So I see a lot of good justification in Terry's emails to higher ups on decision making for the right airplane to be assigned to our squadron to Riverside. One thing I forgot to do in the beginning, and it's better late than never, so I'd like to give a word to a visitor. We have a visitor today who may be our new member soon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Evgeny. I moved from Russia 2.5 years ago, and I was dreaming about flying since I was 10 or something like that. And 2 months ago, I started taking my lesson at Riverside Flight Academy, and I'm in process to obtain my private pilot license, and I hope I will join Squadron after I get my license.
You can actually join before you get your license, because we need not just pilots but people in many different capacities, and we will talk about possible options for you to be involved, so even before you become a pilot.
It's even better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for
Thank you.
coming. An interesting story how I met Evgeny. We went flying with Michael to get our $100 burger the other day, and when we came back, my airplane broke down. The starter didn't start the engine, so I stopped by the flight school asking if I could leave my airplane overnight, and they said no because they don't have vacant spots. So Evgeny helped me to taxi my aircraft to the transit parking. And I also met, actually, there is a nice lady working as an instructor. She is also from Russia, from Siberia. Her name is Kat. So met 2 Russians in one day. What are the odds, right? At the same flight school. Okay, so that is a formal part of the agenda. So let's talk a little bit about efforts we are considering for recruitment. I've spoken to Chris a few times about that, and one idea actually we share the point of view is to bring some of the attraction through FAA Wings program, basically to have instructors host formal training here at this facility, not necessarily on a day of a meeting, most likely actually on some other date over the weekend, but A, it will build the awareness of the people, and B, we will be able to advertise briefly before, after the event, what we are doing here. And Chris, would you like to say what some of the ideas you have on that subject?
Just, yeah, a little quick primer. So, hello everybody. Just really quick, the one I already technically did it with a friend of mine. He's a he's the director of public information, Riverside Emergency Management. He's a friend of mine. He's over at Corona. He called me up one day. He did a aviation survival seminar for the Corona Pilots Association, and I helped him kind of put the event on, and then he kind of tossed it to me a little bit to talk about CAP. And we started talking afterward, and he said if he had more time, which it turns out to be a 4-week lead time, the FAA has approved that course to give wings credit. We kind of spitballed back and forth about turning it into somewhat more of a fundraiser membership drive for this squadron, by advertising either at here at the cafe or the schools if they'll let us, but however we want to do that, and open it up to the rest of our group for training, as well as open it up to the public, if we have enough space and enough areas to do it. But he does a really good seminar. Again, it's about aviation survival, which is pretty specific to the kind of things that we do, to help people stay alive long enough for us to find them if we are looking for them, because that is one of the problems when going down, is people not being prepared. When we hop in the plane, we go fly. I mean, most of us, we're just we're not all suited up like we are. But I remember when we first did our mission scanner training, and for those of you who haven't done mission scanner, it's part of the course, is talking about, are you prepared for an off-field landing? And as air crew, you do need to be prepared for an off-field landing. That means, can you survive? Do you have enough? Do you have a way to signal if you're on the ground? I was just listening to the I think it was the Never Again podcast. AOPA Never Again. It's a bunch of horror stories about aviation, but it was a Coast Guard pilot that was talking about they were searching for a plane that went down in Alaska, and the problem they had was there was 4 people on the plane, only 1 survivor, because they searched all day, could not find that person. Then they returned the next day. They managed to actually find it, get down there, and only found 1 person alive. And they kept thinking, man, if we had seen them, if they had a signaling capability, we would have gotten them on the first day, and more people would have been alive. So that's one idea. I think aviation survival just fits in with the theme of Civil Air Patrol. Plus, a friend of mine is a really good contact to have, because as we all progress through emergency services, we do need to do FEMA training, and that's also part of what he does, because he's also a reserve fire chief, and among other things. This could probably spawn into other training events where people if they want to get first aid, or they actually want to have a real clinic about how do you apply tourniquets correctly, that type of thing. Anyways, great contact. And if you guys remember last week, I had pictures of both of us ran into a fire. Probably wasn't advised, but we both ran into a fire to try to put out something at Corona. So yeah, he's the real deal. He knows what he's talking about. So that's one idea.
And the other idea, the gentleman I met during my travel to Oshkosh, he is a CFII and ATP rated pilot working for American Airlines. He does a number of wings credit sessions, mostly at Fullerton Airport, but at least at the first conversation he wasn't against an option coming here and actually scheduling that kind of session at our facility, so we can invite more people. And of course it will be open to our members first, and whatever number of seats we have available will be filled up through the advertisement on FAA website, because those things can be scheduled through FAA safety portal by the accredited instructors. And some of the subjects he is doing with one of his friends, they both associated with NAFI, National Association of Flight Instructors, I think. They actually did that impossible turn presentation, which is available online, and it was in the email related to the emergency procedures clinic. So we can watch it in one of our safety meetings. Very educating and very eye-opening, at least for low hours pilots like myself.
You know, we still have you beat. You know, there's 2 people in Squadron 5 that are fast qualified.
Uh-huh.
Roger and myself. Oh, trouble is that there's 3 now. We can't get in. We can't get into the system. It's been so long for us. We can't get in the system to log training, and that's what we have to do when Boston gets back.
Bob, there's 3 now. So one of our newest members, he is a CFII wings fast qualified. So I think he can probably help you out.
This is certainly something we should explore, scheduling those kind of events here. That will help us bring more members aboard, I believe. So, open discussion now. Any other ideas how to increase membership
The newspaper,
participation?
starting around Saturday or Sunday's newspaper, list all the events of the week that takes place within the county or city. And I'm kind of curious of just calling Riverside Press and state that Civil Air Patrol meets on this and new members are welcome, and give the time and the date and where it's held with a phone number. And I think you can get free publicity that way, because they list all the events for the various commissions, and I read it in the press for Redlands, San Bernardino, Riverside, and it's just an option. You have to take and call the editor's office and see what can be done for free advertising.
That's good.
We
Mike?
don't-
Air shows are a pretty big draw. If we can get a booth, if we can man a booth at air shows, we usually get 1 or 2 people that are interested in joining the squadron. One of our biggest recruitment days was air show here at Riverside. We put the aircraft out front here, and we the cadets actually would put a booth out, and then we'd stand out there and, but we typically get 2 to 3 to 4 people every air show that join up.
Okay.
So if you can go to Chino's air show or March's air show or something like that, maybe you guys could promote some recruitment that way.
March is our show, will be April of next year.
So,
Okay, April next year.
yeah.
There will be a smaller air show, Wings over Camarillo, this weekend.
Oh.
It's probably maybe hard to get there and
Yeah, I don't think that one's a good one to go
establish
to.
presence, but it's kind of far for us. It is not very reasonable.
And in September, we're gonna have a national aerobatic competition at Redlands Airport. There's a good possibility that maybe if there's an airplane available that even going to Redlands Airport, it's gonna be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The competition basically is Saturday and Sunday. It ends early on Sunday, but that's a national group. And they were there last year. They're gonna be here again on September, and I forgot, if I can just find the date, maybe I can help you out on that.
Somebody
But it's coming up real close.
Somebody mentioned Apple Valley's having a small air show coming up soon. I don't know when, but I heard that through the grapevine.
Yeah, let's try to get those dates on a calendar. So if you know for sure when and where the air show is happening, email it to me. I will start creating a line of events, and we will start stuffing these events with our members, so we can advocate to the public what we do and how people can help.
I think the competition, aerobatic competition at Redlands is on Memorial Day weekend, unfortunately, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Memorial Day is on Monday the 5th. It's a holiday. It makes it a little bit difficult for some people. I don't have it on my phone. I'll find out. I'll get the final date on Thursday. And then the other thing we need to think about as a squadron is getting a phone list with an email of all the members we have. We used to have that. In fact, I even found cleaning out my office the other day, I went through 2 boxes to throw away. We used to have a newsletter that went out monthly. Now that we have Zoom, we don't have that. Because when John Stokes was a lieutenant, 2005. That's another thing to think about, is a newsletter of some type. We'd have to have someone that wants to publish it and get inputs from people, and just put out a single sheet of what's going on with the squadron.
We have public relationship officer, David. So I'll give you a word in a moment. If you have any ideas on your side, what we can do, maybe Facebook related and whatnot. I did a number of posts on Facebook groups. One is for SoCal aviators. This is how Arnold joined us, and a few other potential candidates interested, but they are trying to align their schedule. One of them is a firefighter, so he's busy right now. He cannot allocate time, but promised coming fall he will pay a visit. So it all takes effort and persistency to repeat these newsletters and posts on Facebook and whatnot. People are looking and interested, and we should just develop a plan. So I will task Chris to start putting together a plan related to FAA safety type of events, and David to start putting together PR related actions, and I will work with you, Bob, on meeting people and actually asking for donations to support our squadron. And any other ideas, if you don't have any right now, but maybe you think of it at home in the discussions with your friends, feel free to share with myself, and we will discuss these options in our future meetings. For Nighthawk, I will reiterate to all the members, please make an effort and come in person, even if you are used to attend our meetings remotely in a virtual format. It's good to get in a closer environment and discuss our options, our ideas, and share our experiences. We have to bring life to our squadron, and nothing replaces the option of social interaction one with another. And don't be afraid to advertise to your family and friends, and you never know, maybe someone was interested about learning about aviation, and maybe they can become our next airspace education officer. With Ixton missing in action, we need to find someone who will step up and will carry forward that program, because it's one of the mandatory efforts we dedicate ourselves to. So in fact, if anyone wants to volunteer for the next meeting, which is our scheduled aerospace education meeting, there will be approximately 45 minutes of time available to discuss your favorite aerospace education subject. Maybe a historical event, maybe technological advancement, maybe even bring some humor into it, whatever. There are a lot of funny stories in aviation, and some emergency situations may end up in a funny way, so don't be afraid to share it. Okay, any other ideas, comments? David, do you have any thoughts?
So, what I have this mic. So what I'm looking to do is get Facebook posted so that our meetings, we could, when we're watching online, I don't know if we know the actual name of the Facebook page to get to be able to see what's happening. But I'd like to make that exposed. Even the YouTube channel, post our information in there saying that here is our website, here is our Facebook channel, here is YouTube. Get that information out there, get that updated. I need to, even for myself, I need to verify that I have those right pages and make that available to everybody. I like the idea of using Teams. I just think that the new members may not have access to Teams, and therefore that makes it hard for them to get to. So having this information in both places could be very beneficial. Go ahead, Mike.
We can actually invite them to Teams if we know their email address.
Okay.
So if they're a new member, we can put them on an invitation and then they can get in.
Okay.
Correct.
So,
It
Right.
just
Good to
requires
know.
an effort either on my side or your side
Right.
to orchestrate it, to make sure that everyone is
Yeah,
invited.
maybe have it on the blackboard there or the whiteboard, and just make that more information available so that anybody could get to it easier. Because right now it seems like our presence on the internet is kind of very minimal. So I see
Yeah,
areas
that's
for
definitely
improvement.
a great idea. And actually, a quick update. Chris is working on the new website for the squadron in a national format. And Chris, do you have any updates on that? And maybe someone can help you with the remaining work you still have to do.
Yeah, no updates yet, just the photo editing part. That's
Well, if anyone is handy with photo editing, Photoshop and whatnot, please reach out to Chris, and he has work for you.
And Chris,
It's a
what is
simple work actually, but takes time.
the link to the website? Can we also have that up there?
the current or the new one?
What you're working on?
I
Is that available for us to view, or do you
think
want to wait?
So, I'll email it out.
Yeah,
Okay,
please share
that'd
with
be
David. He's a public relationship officer, and he's also an IT admin for the squadron, so he definitely is entitled to help you in any way he can. And we need to publish it as sooner the better. Let's put some kind of deadline to it.
Yeah, I like
Um,
the idea of having that calendar, even what you did, talking about with the Press Enterprise. Also have that calendar available on our website. You know, make it available in multiple locations. It just makes it easier for the public to find us.
Good. Okay. So, any other comments, questions, unrelated to discussed subjects? Questions related to your professional development, the courses you are taking? Anything we need to do to help you get past those milestones? Like, I don't know, did you resolve your issue with the cadet protection program? Okay, so let's sit after the meeting and review what the roadblock is and see how we can resolve it. Yeah, so for new members, keep in mind it's very important to get those compliance and non-compliance things behind us. That is like equal opportunity related subject, which every new member must complete within so many days from the enrollment. Cadet protection related matter. Yeah, we need to figure out the camera, which rotates to the speaker.
okay, we can see you, but the guys online can't see you.
Yes. And it's also confusing. Some people are on Teams, some people on YouTube and whatnot. So, yeah, so again, don't get stuck. If you don't know what to do, reach out either to Chris or to myself, to both of us. Whomever is available will assist you as soon as possible. Okay. Congratulations to Chris. He completed level 2 training, and he will be the one getting an award next week. I actually have the award. I just wanted to make more formal. And I have completed level 2 recently in a cohort which I was assigned to, and I'm like halfway through my commander training. I guess I got a little bit of hang of it, so covered 4 lessons in 4 days. So it was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody, and Appreciate you all coming. The meeting is adjourned.
Time goes by in a hurry when you're